Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and as always, I got a wonderful show planned um, for you. Now, you may notice I didn't have my countdown like I normally do. Uh, I don't know, the new service I'm using, the countdown disappeared. So I may have to end up paying for that. Anyway, um, before I bring on the guest, uh, I wanted just to go through the usual mentions. First of all, Bold Venture Press, or on Amazon, if you look up Zorro's Exploits or Zorro's Swordplay and Romance, you'll find two books I worked on and got to illustrate Zorro in, which dream come true for me, and I hope they do more. I'd love to draw more Zorro for them. Also, the Whimsical Wiz on Amazon. You can get the complete 2023 collection, as the Wiz ended on the first day of 2025. So there is a new Wiz book in the process. And you know how I always say you guys got to check out A Kid in a Comic? Well, today in my mail, and I thought I'd open it live on the air, is my next set of copies for the latest issue of A Kid in a Comic, where the Wiz appears in. So let me just do this really, really quickly, if I can hold on to stuff and not hurt myself here. I keep telling, if you guys are unfamiliar with it, go follow A Kid in a Comic. You can go to akidinacomic.com, A Kid in a Comic on, I think, all social media platforms, basically. But it's a complete newspaper filled with comics done by, you know, pros and indie creators. And this is what it looks like. So you got this great 11 by 17 newspaper here. And it's got all original comics. So everything in here, you're not like getting reprints of Garfield or anything. Here's Tim Jones, Sour Grapes, a friend of mine here. If you know Matt Hansel, is Marty and Spud is on the back cover here. Let's just do a quick one. Ooh, I tore this one. This is my copy that doesn't get sold. Oh, Mr. Morris is in here, which I enjoy. I'm just looking for where the Wiz is. So, can you see that? The Wiz is single panel right there. So anyway, this is it. Got some really great stuff from some top creators and indie guys. Check it out, akidinacomic.com. All right, and now let's bring on our guest. He was a guest a few years back. He is the creator of Argo Comics and THUNDERZONE Comics, and he has a bunch of books. And I'm a fan of them. I do need to get more copies of them because I don't own as many as I'd like. So let me bring on Dan Sehn. Hello, Dan. How you doing?
How's it going? All right.
Doing good. I can't really complain.
It's been a number of years, so finally, Argo
Yeah.
Comics has come back.
Yes, I am
Dude,
thrilled to hear that. I've been
didn't
watching. Yep, been watching you on social media. Mostly Facebook is where I see your posts, and I see that you've been working on stuff, and you've had other Kickstarters and things. So you keep busy.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, we wrapped up the Sorority of Power Kickstarter. This was a trade collecting
Wow,
the first 5 issues, and
nice.
then that's Argo Comics, and then we dipped back into THUNDERZONE Comics for the one we launched today.
Yes, the Kickstarter, which I saw has already been. Wow, I just checked it out. You have already over double, uh, backing what you were asking for. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we kind of set it up, with a very modest goal, being that we've made these books. We invested our own money
Mm-hmm.
into something we're asking other people to invest in. So it's not like we weren't going to publish them. So I
Yeah,
just made it kind of like a token goal. And then now the recovering the cost really begins.
yeah, and now I don't remember. You got to remind me about a few. And when I turn my head for the audience knowing and you knowing, I'm looking at my other screen in front of me, which has the Kickstarter on there. For those who well, first of all, before I even get into that question, for those who are unfamiliar with you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, when you started doing comics and the type of comics that you create, and just about Argo, about THUNDERZONE, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Argo Comics actually, this is our now 20th year of production. So 20 years ago, started out with a couple pinup books just to get the characters and names kind of copyrighted. Went to the conventions with those, had some pretty big names in there. Just enjoyed having artists I admire do the characters. Pinups and covers, it runs even into today with my quest for that. But then we went into stories, and now between Argo Comics and THUNDERZONE, we have over 100 books we've published. And Argo 5, which was my main title, is now marching towards issue 50. We have 46 just came out, and 4 more to go to 50.
Jeez. Is that going to be a goal for 2025, or is that going to end up in 2026, do you think?
I guess it depends on our rate of lettering, because the books are pretty much penciled, inked, colored, and then it's just a matter of getting them lettered and then out to everybody. And there's also the THUNDERZONE titles to take into account. So there's a lot of balls to juggle. And so I'm not like 100% sure we'll make it by the end of this year to issue 50, but it could happen.
Yeah, and you handle the writing of the stuff. You're not the artist, correct?
That is correct. I did draw Argo 5 #1. I drew and inked that. And I've lettered many of the books. We have a great letterer, Francisco Zamora, doing some of our books as well. But I've been doing lettering as well. I'm primarily the only writer, for the most part, in Argo Comics, but THUNDERZONE is a shared universe, so it's a separate universe from Argo Comics. Mm-hmm. So there are a number of writers involved in that.
Okay. I'm sorry, my monitors. I'm using my iPad as a second monitor, and I have it on this. I'm sorry, on this thing here, and it just keeps sliding down. So I'm gonna just leave it on its own stand here, so it'll be a little different for me, but at least it won't slide anymore. I don't know why it's sliding. It's never done that before. Let me get that away from me here.
That looks like a sheet music holder or something.
You know what? It's actually a very cheap holder from Five Below. Okay. And my laptop is currently on one, and I use my iPad on this when I use it as a second monitor, and it actually works very well. It's a little tight to move things around, and I think I know what happened. It lost all its little padding that it had. Okay. I'll stick some new padding onto that that I have, and that'll be my I have stuff. I'll do that tomorrow. Anyway, so your universe is very for Argo. Just talking about the Argo comics, it's really a superhero universe. Correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And now when I look at what you have with THUNDERZONE tonight, one of them is Nature Man. He's a public domain character. Are your Argo characters public domain as well, or those are original creations?
Argo Comics is all original creations that I created. Mm-hmm. THUNDERZONE, that letterer I mentioned, Francisco Zamora, he's revamping Vulcan So we have
Oh,
Trials of Vulcan. That was a backup story. So that's a public domain character. And then Nature Man is really my only foray into public domain characters.
okay.
I actually have, here is a cover to issue 3. So
Mm,
Nature Boy is now Nature Man. The
yeah.
Dart was a public domain character. And Kismet, Man of Fate, he was a public domain character. So Nature Man is really riffing on the public domain characters. All the other books are really original creations, though.
Okay. And obviously, they're influenced by, other superheroes out there. I'm not going to say they're copies or anything, but everybody pulls from what they love. I have characters, and if you really break it down, you'll be like, oh, that's Superman, that's this. Who are some of the influences on you as a creator that helped you create your universe, whether it's characters or specific writers, artists?
Well, that is something that I've tried to somewhat avoid.
Okay.
Being that, you know, uh, Wolverine is already out there. He has a lot of fans. He has a lot of the top talent uh, working on him, and he's published regularly and has great distribution. So if I were to create my Wolverine homage, there's really no reason for anyone to come over and check it out.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, though, most things have been done, but I've always been trying to at least try to come up with some original uh, creations as far as power sets, personalities, backgrounds, and then also story wise to purposefully give you something that will not appear in the big two, being that again, they're already out there
Yeah.
and their marketing is stronger than my own. So, yeah, but it's almost inescapable, being that if your character has a cape and he flies, then the question becomes: is he your Superman? And if he doesn't fly and he has a cape, is he your Batman?
Yeah.
So color schemes also, any slight color scheme that's been out there, boom, you're
Yeah.
you're a copy of that. So I think it's because, and I'm a fan of years and years of the big two. Uh, so I have no uh, hatred towards that.
Yeah.
But the passion that the fans have for those characters, it's almost like they're protecting them by accusing one of your characters of being a, ripoff of that character. So I could see, it's their beloved creation. Wolverine is the original blue and yellow character, and you can't have blue and yellow. And it's just, hopefully they read the books and then they get past that.
Well, I have read a few of your books in the past, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them. I will say that.
Much
I
appreciated.
have I can actually tell you what I have right now. I have some digital copies. Excuse me. If it opens, where's my come on. Did it open somewhere and I just can't see it? Son of a.
That's technology for you.
Yeah, I
Our
know.
friend
Okay.
and our foe.
Yeah, it's not opening. I do know I have an Argo book. Huh.
Yeah,
Wait,
Argo
oh,
number
you know what?
0.
Hold on. I think it's already open, but I have it minimized. It should. Digital edition. No, that's not it. Affinity photo. No, I don't. Okay, it's not opening for some reason. I apologize, but I got like 2 or 3 of your digital books. I bought from Indie Planet a while ago, and really enjoyed them. So
Oh, thanks.
I want to say
Thanks a lot.
I like your stuff. I do wish I could buy. I'm sorry, I just read the comment from Dave Sillyville official. the big two, Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, no, we're talking comics right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so Thunderzone, you said, is a shared universe. That's obviously with other creators you're talking about.
That is
Oh,
correct. It's kind of like the early Image Comics
mhm.
universe, where you had the separate studios all making books with their own characters, but they were on the same Earth.
Yeah,
So we have, yeah, like 9 different creators, all with their own titles, but all those characters are on the same Earth.
nice, nice.
So
And
it'll,
how does that kind of work for you guys as storytellers? Are you allowed to interchange characters, or you get permission, or like let's say somebody wants to use one of your characters, does it have to fit in with your story? Like, do you guys work together and say, well, this is what's going on in their comic right now, or is it just, hey, as long as you follow these guidelines, you can use them?
yeah, without the strict monthly schedule that the larger companies keep with, you can't always predict the exact release of some of these to have it so lined up where it has to be in tight continuity.
Yeah.
So, but it is, again, like early Image, where Eric Larson may say, "Can I use Savage Dragon? I mean, can I use Spawn for this issue?" And Todd McFarlane would say, "Oh yeah, sure," and tell him what it's about. So yeah, the creators are able to kind of organize that within themselves whenever they want cameos. Like we had Chronicles of the Metaversal, where this we have a pro wrestler in Singapore who puts out his own comic, uh, Chronicles of the Metaversal. He wrestles as Meta, as his name in pro wrestling. So that's his character's name, and he has Realmer X, which is another creator's character, guest starring in his first couple issues. So that was all worked out within themselves. We did have a Kickstarter for Thunder Guard, which pretty much is our biggest crossover so far, where you have about 8 characters rotating in each issue, crossing over between different creators' characters.
Now, the Thunder, is that a team book, or
Thunder Guard is a team book, yes.
and how long you've been doing that for? Because that sounds very familiar. Like, I might have a digital copy of that somewhere.
Yeah, Thunder Guard was like 2 Kickstarters ago, so I'll say 6 months or so, because I've been pretty good with fulfilling in a timely fashion. I mean,
Mhm.
as I said earlier, the books are done, so I'm pretty much able to once the surveys go out and I get everything back, and some late surveys finally get filled out, I'm able to do a digital fulfillment pretty quickly, as well as going to a print order, and it's a matter of them sorting all that out, because there's a lot of international shipping. Books are shipping directly from the printer to save time, get people their books quicker. Um, so yeah, Thunder Guard, probably, yeah, about 6 months ago maybe, and then Sorority of Power Kickstarter came, and now we're at the THUNDERZONE Strikes Back, which is our second THUNDERZONE new release Kickstarter.
Okay. Um, yeah, the ThunderZone we're gonna look at that in a moment. Which, by the way, for those who watched my Instagram live today, and where I discussed, Dan coming on, um, after I showed an image that you have on Kickstarter of all the characters. I did get a few wrong of what books they belong to, because later I went in to the actual, back my project, and it showed
Okay.
more detail. And I'm like, oh, this guy looks like he belongs to this story, and this guy looks like he belongs to this story. And I was wrong, a lot wrong on these here. So we'll talk about those in a moment. Hold on, I'm sorry, my phone just went off, and all right, just making sure my volume's off. And okay, so So you know what? I'm actually fascinated by the concept that you have for THUNDERZONE, and you know, obviously, like you were talking about, it's like Image, and Image has always fascinated me as a company. What had you go from doing Argo Comics to saying, "Hey, let's all get together and do a shared universe," as opposed to just kind of staying separate?
Well, I think whenever I do some crossovers or guest stars, it's always fun to interact with other creators. Like sometimes you're creating your own thing, you're doing it a little bit in a vacuum, and there's not as much back and forth and feedback, and just the fun of putting in with other people and exchanging creative ideas. So uh, I thought it was a good thing to do. As far as also, perhaps 9 voices would be a little uh, stronger broadcast signal than one voice. So
Yeah,
maybe with all of us teaming up, it's almost like a cross promotional type of thing where, it's a lot of comics in the market these days. So to
yeah,
be, yeah, a little more of a voice out there in the algorithm of
yeah.
life. Yeah,
I want to just stop for 1 second because I see something in the background. I got to ask about it. Is that a Smokey the Bear figure behind you?
that's right. Because
Okay.
only you can prevent forest fires.
No, I am literally a huge Smokey the Bear fan. I have I have two figures somewhere in this room, and I got coasters that I used museum putty to my wall of Smokey
Oh,
the Bear. I got in Disney World at one of the hotels I went to
oh,
visit,
okay.
and I didn't know they had Smokey the Bear merchandise, and I just like I love it. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's a little older, a little vintage here. Let me grab that. Yeah, he's pointing at you. He's accusing you of
Oh wow, that is awesome.
the hat. I think came with 2 hats, but I use this one. So yeah, I used to go 2 2-week camping trips every
Mhm.
year as I was growing up. We had like a pop up camper, and yeah, they had Smokey the Bear signs at the campsites, and yeah, so I have that, a tin sign, and some T-shirts. I was always a big Smokey fan as well.
That is great. That is great. I'm sorry, that just kept catching my eye. I had to ask about it. Um, yeah, so let's take a look at these characters, and we can talk about them, and then we'll look at the backing. Um, Now we discussed a little bit about Nature Boy and about their his public domain kind of origin that you pull that you're using. But just out of curiosity, why Nature Boy? Like not or Nature Man? Why'd you pull them?
Well, Nature Boy. Okay, my favorite corporate character is Superman.
Hmm.
So, or Big Two character, whatever you want to say. Um, and Jerry Siegel and John Buscema came up with Nature Boy. So it had that Superman creator tie-in.
Hmm.
Um, some public domain characters seem to get heavy usage. Um, so I didn't, Daredevil or the original Daredevil, uh, Black Terror
Yeah.
come to mind. There seems to be some of them that were heavily used, and I kind of wanted to uh, put my stamp on something that wasn't so heavily used. And when I read the original Nature Boy uh, series, uh, I really liked the stories, the concepts, and he had like a pantheon of heroes that was giving him powers. Kind of reminded me of the old Shazam live action TV show in that
Hmm.
respect. So I played on that a little bit. I don't Oh, that's my phone. Sorry. My phone thinks I'm talking to it. So yeah, and the story concept I came up with is that all those stories occurred, and he was kind of like dead for all intents and purposes, and now coming back to life. So the years have passed. So there has been aging. So in that respect, and all the heroes that I've utilized, the public domain heroes, there are explanations as to what happened to them after their initial stories. The initial stories are canon. I reference some of the initial stories. So if you're like a public domain hero fan, it'll resonate more with you. You don't need to have read those earlier appearances, but it does add another layer to it. So yeah, bringing Nature Boy back and the ones that I picked out that were not quite as heavily used, those were natural choices for me. And going with Nature Man over Nature Boy will at least cut down on the number of Ric Flair references that I get from having revamp of the Nature Boy, and all the woos that come with that.
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, I'm sorry. I have a Ric Flair story, but I don't share it online. It's pretty funny. You just had me thinking about that. All right, let's take a look at the characters here. There's my mouse. There it is. So you have 5 new books here with this. You have Nature Man #4, Supercross #4, Big House Blues #3, Marshall Strong #2, and Weirdo #1. Now, I guessed a couple of them wrong, but I'm assuming he's Weirdo, the little blue or purple, whatever color.
Yeah, the purplish guy. That's Weirdo.
Yeah. Can you tell? I want to just kind of you tell me a little bit about each one here. So, what's the Weirdo concept? Who is he?
Yeah, Weirdo is kind of like your zanier character, and as I said, I try not to go with anything that's been heavily used before, but there are influences. I'd say maybe like Freakazoid, who seems like something to kind of, inspire you, but is not really used anywhere, being that, the cartoon is over. They don't print anything about him. So in that respect, I guess, but there are plenty of Madcap, Deadpool comes to mind, that characters that kind of, sometimes break the fourth wall and are kind of unpredictable. Weirdo, actually, Weirdo and Nature Man and Big House Blues all were kind of serialized in Antarctic Press's Exciting Comics.
Cool.
But they didn't, they were rotating so many stories into that title that they didn't get to the endings on any of these. So now when we have Nature Man #4, The Conclusion, that was never printed. Big House Blues, we're moving into #3, which I believe is not printed before. And Weirdo, I'm not sure if they got again, they chopped up the issues.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure they finished issue 1. They might have in Exciting Comics. But these are as they were originally intended, full issues to get the full story, and then multiple issues to read straight out.
And how long ago were they in the Exciting Comics?
That was about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I'd say.
Yeah. I may say I'm actually a big Antarctic Press fan. I like a lot of their work. So I've read quite a few. So maybe I've read some of these in the past.
I've had all the Ninja High Schools and all the Gold Digger issues. Longtime fan of that company, so I was very happy to be involved.
Ninja, it's funny. Ninja High. Well, I won't go into the long story, but the short story is I started collecting comics in 1989. By 1990, 91, I started my store started showing me independent books, and Ninja High School was one of the first books that they kind of showed me. They're like, you're gonna like this. I used to love to draw that type of stuff, and I used to study martial arts. So they're like, you'll love this. It's all martial art. It's fighting. It's sci-fi. It's everything you'll love, Michael, because it took them time to get to know me.
Hmm.
So when they started saying, "Oh, you like indie books? We're going to start, or we'll find some books that are not mainstream for you," and they started bringing those in, and a lot of it was Antarctic Press that I was reading. So I had a lot of that back throughout the '90s, until the store went out of business. They closed the store, but and then it was just hard to find a good indie store after that. But I'm glad that the first store that I went to for the first like 8 years of my collecting, they really introduced me to a lot of stuff I probably would have never been exposed to going to other stores that just handle mainstream.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
actually, yeah, 89 was when I started with Ninja High School.
Mhm.
I think it was a perfect memory or yearbook #1 um, that I had gotten in Manhattan. But actually, a comic store I went to in the 80s, The Incredible Pulp, uh, had a lot of indies, and the owner there introduced me to a lot of stuff like Love and Rockets,
Yeah.
Cerebus, and stuff like that. And in actuality, the creator of Marshall Strong, which is in this Kickstarter, he worked
Mhm.
at that comic store. So he's,
Really?
yeah, so been friends throughout the years. And when he finally got his book up and running, he brought it to THUNDERZONE. So yeah, Mike DeShaunness's great writer now with his own Marshall Strong title.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now I can't. I wish I remembered the name of the comic shop that I went to. All I know is in Brewster, New York, guys. So, uh, and all right. So now, so you told us a little bit about the weirdo. Now, this is who I originally thought was Marshall Strong. I
Okay.
thought because he had this badge-looking, piece on his chest. I didn't realize Marshall probably is his actual name as opposed to being like a marshal. You know,
Yeah,
unless
Marshall's a colonel, but that
he's
guy is actually a corrections officer. That's why he
okay.
has his badge.
So he's Big House Blues.
That's correct. That is Officer Alloy for Big House Blues, and he is strong. So I guess you'd think that maybe he would be Marshall Strong, but he is Officer Alloy, and he has super strength, uh, invulnerability, and he is part of this. There's a supervillain, or actually, before superheroes were, I guess the big two lost the trademark on superheroes. I was
Mhm.
calling everyone mega heroes, and so I had the mega villain reformatory as a prison for supervillains, and I had superheroes as the corrections officers, and Officer Alloy there is like the chief corrections officer.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're into issue 3 now of that with Ron Williams doing the art and Giuseppe Pica doing the colors.
Yeah.
And I should mention Weirdo was Eduardo Viena doing the art and Tio Pinheiro doing the colors.
Wow, these are just really great here. I'm really enjoying the just looking at the artwork. The poses are they're fantastic here. And we talked about Nature Man. So now this is Marshall Strong.
That is correct.
Yeah. So
Uh,
please tell us about it.
yeah, so again, that's Mike DeShaunness's creation. And it actually came from like a role playing origin. So he was playing, I think it was Villains and Vigilantes. And
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with John's Longbox. He was kind of like the DM of that. So they had a whole universe of characters, um, with Marshall being Mike's. And now I guess there are some characters that actually, since they were both involved in this role playing campaign and they're both publishing now, uh, you'll see some of the characters cross over from John's books and our books, as far as that's concerned. But yeah, Marshall Strong, I think the powers are primarily coming from alien interaction. So the various characters have powers, and I think in actuality, Marshall's got a boost from experimental procedure with this alien technology. So yeah, I'm trying to see what was in issue 1 and not spoil issue 2. But so he's more of like a combat. He is a colonel, and he's a combat type of character with kind of enhanced strength and abilities. But obviously, in this photo, you can see that he's brandishing his gun, which he has, as I guess he can't fight close quarters as a martial artist. You know this, unless you're carrying around throwing stars or something. So the gun becomes like a long range weapon.
Yeah. And the last one, the female, she's obviously from Supercross.
Yes, Supercross is actually. Let me see here. Yeah, that's actually a creator in Singapore. And here's issue 3 we have of that.
Hold on, let me see if I can give you the screen. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, here's issue 3, one of the covers. Pat Broderick actually did this cover.
Okay.
And yeah, we have a variant by David Ross on the new campaign. So this just are all characters from Singapore. And, in the first couple pages, you get a full breakdown. So if you didn't get the earlier issues, you'll have a full breakdown of the roll call and who's who and what's happening in the story. Yeah. So that's always an important thing to have within a story. And this character, we don't have the other screen back up.
Oh, I can put it back up. Hold on. It's just I can't. You're too small to show the book on the screen and have both up.
No, I appreciate it. That's Clandestine, who is kind of like a mega hero fan. So she fights with a mace, and she has athletic abilities, but also her knowledge of the superhuman community is helpful when teaming up with heroes or facing other villains, in the respect that she kind of knows, and she's strategic, so she knows maybe how the powers of the heroes can be used to defeat the villains. And again, with her involvement we had her in a Thunder Guard backup story that was in Junkyard Joe #2. That's another THUNDERZONE title. She appeared in that, and the whole Thunder Guard book and that backup story is kind of like the UN bringing about a program where heroes could be on call, because heroes are going to know that teaming up is going to be effective and sometimes is needed to face a bigger threat. So that's why Thunder Guard can have a rotating cast, is because our character Major Payne is kind of like the director. She's at the monitors. She can see the threat and kind of assess which heroes to send. So in that backup story, Clandestine was one of those heroes. And we're actually working on Thunder Guard #2, which will continue the story that was in 1. That backup story was kind of like a standalone. But Supercross and Nature Man both.
Oh, I'm sorry, he froze for a moment, guys. Let's give him a second. While we're giving him that moment. Yeah, you're back now. So I'm sorry,
Okay.
you got cut off.
I thought that
I
was
was just
over
scrolling
with our
down.
first appearance.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I said I thought we had the technical issues.
Sorry, having another technical issue. Last time, just so you guys know, last time he was on the show, he did this from a parking lot in his car on his phone. So there were some technical issues there. I thought everything was going to be great now, but
Yeah, we were rolling pretty good up
yeah,
until this point.
it's okay. I'm sorry. Would you like to repeat what you were saying before you froze? You froze again. Technology, you guys gotta love it. While we wait, if you haven't read the screen, he's moving again.
How about now?
Oh, your voice needs, or your picture has to catch up with your sound, but you seem to be good.
Okay.
Or maybe I spoke too soon. Uh,
We can. Let me see if I can shut anything else down.
I don't know. Do you want to leave and try to come back, maybe, or?
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, see if that works. In the meantime, we'll look at this cover here. So this is for Nature Man number 4. I don't know if he's gone yet. He hasn't disappeared. Let me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remove him right now from here and see if that works. Let me see. If that'll just. Okay, he's gone for the moment. I still see his on here. Let's see if he'll how it is when he comes back. But he's here he is coming back. I don't see his camera here right now. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Let's see. Am I on or?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hope.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm going to do for you? I don't know if you can hear me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hide your camera, but keep your audio. I don't know if that's good for me, or if maybe you want to hide your camera on your end and just keep audio if you can. See if you can do that on your end, and maybe it'll excuse me, guys. I apologize, guys, for the technical issue. These things happen when you're working with streaming and the internet. Something's happening here. Let's see what happened. All right. Whoa. Yeah, I was going to say.
Shut off. I just had to shut off the computer and try it on the phone.
Okay.
Let's see. Am I on? Let's see
Yeah.
how it's looking. Oh, okay.
Everything seems good. All right. Do you want to go to your car now, or no?
Yeah, I'll drive somewhere to get better reception. Let's see. Let me just
So,
trying to set this up. And
yeah, take your time.
all right, here we are.
Yep. Let me get the chat back up so I can see that. Okay, cool, cool. So yeah, I be honest, I forgot what you were talking about before all this.
The
We
cover.
were well, now we're on this cover, but we were talking about something. But anyway, let's move on to. Do you want to move on to the cover of Nature Man #4 here?
That is correct. Yes.
Yes. I like this cover.
Well, yeah. Spoilers. Yeah, we have our heroes facing Stardust, the Super Wizard, which was
Yes.
another public domain character created by Fletcher Hanks. And again, with all these characters, the Dart, Kismet, Nature Man, I tracked down all the previous appearances, and not easy to do, being that I don't like reading digital that much. So I got them all physically in reprints. But yeah, I really heavily researched the titles, and that Stardust is a wacky character.
Oh yeah.
So it really lent itself well to the way I utilized him, and I
Yeah. I mean, listen.
explained some of that wackiness.
What? I'm sorry. What?
I said I explained some of that wackiness in his earlier appearances,
Mhm.
at least in in my own way, my own
Yeah.
spin on it. Yeah,
I mean, listen, I'm actually a public domain fan. I'm one of those people who regularly goes into the public domain Facebook group, the public domain superhero Facebook group. Um,
sure.
a lot of the times they're warm up drawings for me, these characters, because I just love them so much. And Stardust is one of those, for me, easily recognizable characters. So I knew he was on the cover as soon as I saw this. But it's a very I don't know. I like that. It's very dynamic in the posing and everything going on. It's a really nice cover here. Who's the artist on the cover?
That's Nitho Diaz, who is actually drawing the X-Men now.
Wow.
So yeah, he actually completed this before getting that assignment. Um, so yeah, I've had a few go on, uh, you know, afterwards into the big two, but
Yeah.
Nitha really took off, and so now, yeah, I'm very happy to have had this cover from him, and still keep in contact. He's a great artist, and yeah, I mean, Giuseppe Pica, who does the colors for the whole series, did the colors on that, and really happy with that cover.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then this is another uh, Nature Man cover. This is by
Yeah, by Zilson Costa. Everyone will be
Zils.
able to pick whichever cover they want when the surveys go out.
Okay.
So you don't have to back, unless you want to, do an add-on and get multiple covers,
Yeah.
but you don't
Absolutely.
need to. And that's J.W. Irwin, whose
Mhm.
work I came to really appreciate in the indie scene, uh, doing a lot of work for Blue Moon Comics. Diversions is a book that I was picking up,
Mhm.
and loved his art. Actually, just had a new Argo 5, yeah, issue 45 release. Had a variant from him. Now we have a Nature Man variant, and he does have a Marshall Strong variant in this campaign. So a lot of J.W. Irwin going around, and again, Giuseppe Pica doing the colors, who did the
Mhm.
interiors.
Yeah. I like JW's style a lot. I feel like I've seen it somewhere. I don't know where I'm familiar with it. Um, but really just enjoying that style.
think it's a little reminiscent of maybe like Adam Hughes and who's the one who did Starman? Tony Moore.
God,
Great work.
yeah, I don't
Tony
remember.
Harris. Tony Harris. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Tony Harris was the
Yeah.
artist on this. So yeah, I think his style is kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah. I can
That's
see
a great
that.
thing
Yeah.
about indie comics. You can kind of pick the artists that you love the style, and you don't have to, you know, just just have anything being published. You can kind of make these books tailored to your taste.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, I'm just looking at the artwork here. This is really
Yeah, that's
nice.
Zilson Costa and Giuseppe Pica in colors. This page I kind of put up a non-lettered preview because there
Yeah.
was too many spoilers in the words.
And here you explain Nature Boy's story.
Yep.
Now we get into Marshall Strong. Design wise, I really enjoy this character a lot. He's I mean, he's dressed patriotically. I've always kind of leaned towards the patriotic characters. Was always a Captain America fan. Shield. It was, all the DC different. You know, Commander
Yeah.
Steel, Citizen Steel, all those guys. I always kind of lean towards them. So
Yeah, I think actually Mike is a big fan of the Red Circle characters and the
yeah,
original The Shield. So
yeah,
that had probably some influence on Marshall. And yeah, he had two covers there, both by Elton Tomasi and colors by Alan Faria, which again, I think those two covers offer a good variety for the
yeah,
person who wants that iconic type of shot or the more story-driven shot. And again, people could pick whichever cover they want.
yeah. Exactly. Here, wow, this is just beautiful. Here, this, wow.
That's the
And
J.W. Irwin cover.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think who this one reminds me of a little. It's a little different than his other one he did, um, but I love it. I mean, that's obviously a real car that he manipulated and put in. I think it looks beautiful the way he did that. Wow. And who's the interior artist on this book?
That is Elton Tomasi who did those first
The
two
first two
covers.
covers.
Yes.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, no, it's very popular. The issue 1 in the first Kickstarter we had.
Yeah.
It was one of the top picks because we allow people to, if you just want to get one book, get one book. We have a little bit of a special deal to get all 5 in digital or all 5 in print. But
Yeah.
yeah, Marshall is definitely a strong title.
Big House Blues. So this is obviously, and I got it before, but seeing it visually just really helps it pop. The Big House Blues, it's him dealing with superpowered villains in a prison, from my
Yep.
understanding. Yeah.
And
Which
that's
I think you
Ron
might have
Williams
said. Ron Williams, yeah. Wow.
and Giuseppe Pica doing the colors.
Yeah. Wow. And you did you write all of them, or?
No, I wrote Nature Man, Big House Blues, and Weirdo.
Okay.
And then Jerry Hines is the creator of Supercross, and Mike Descharnes is the creator of Marshall Strong. So Jerry actually did his own art. That's Vince White doing the variant cover
Yeah.
on Big House Blues.
Or you can have your character put into prison. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have one of the heroes doing meal duty. So yeah, we can have some backers who get their characters in one of the prison cells, or
Yeah.
themselves if they want.
This is really nice stuff here. This
Yeah,
sounds like a great idea.
there was an inmate that's murdered, and so Officer Alloy is like questioning one of the prisoners who he suspects might be involved.
Yeah. It's a nice design, though.
Oh,
Not just of the villain. I'm just talking about this panel. Sorry. I like just the placement of all the characters.
Yeah, Ron is really exceptional, and we've had a number of books done by him throughout the years. I have a whole 3-issue miniseries he's drawn. I have it colored again. Just got to get to the lettering and release that as well.
Nice. And now this is Supercross, which you said is the one is this the one created by the artist you said is in the Philippines, or
he's in Singapore?
Jerry
sorry. Hines.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And he's actually like the director of the Singapore Comics Association. So he's like the top guy over there, and a stand-up comedian. But yeah, Singapore's superhero universe, he likes to bill it as. But again, we've had Singapore Sling, one of the characters in Supercross, in Thunder Guard #1. She'll be in Thunder Guard #2. So we have his characters from Singapore intermingling with, characters from some of our American creators. So it's a very cool dynamic.
Yeah. Now this is the cover I've been seeing that you've been sharing with the posts online, right? I'm really into the design of these characters here in this on this book here. I love this, like, if you want to call it a cybernetic, suit for this I would assume British guy. I'm assuming he's the villain.
Yes.
But yeah.
You could read below the cover. I believe it's like Dave Ross is the.
Yeah, David Ross.
Yeah, and he's I've seen his work in, again, the big companies. Really fantastic artist, and I think, that cover, I really enjoyed seeing that when it popped up.
Yeah. Interior looking good. And now we come to Weirdo.
Yeah, Weirdo, and that cover's by Eduardo Viena, who does the interior story. He also drew Thunder Guard. So I've had a number of books with him because I've really been blown away by his work.
Yeah, and this is obviously a
homage,
kind of a tribute. Yeah, an homage there.
Yeah, I don't go overboard with them. I mean, it seems like sometimes they get too heavily used, and almost there's no original cover. It's just all homage. And if it fits and I like it, then I'm going to do it. But yeah, that's Jardo Cruz doing that one. And yeah, I thought it worked well.
Yeah, no, it looks nice. I like it a lot. Yeah, this team will be funky like a monkey. Okay.
Yeah, that's another one where people come back and have a original cover with their character interacting with Weirdo, and I'll kind of I'll specify it as far as the scenario when I see the characters who back, almost like a little storyline. You want to make it make sense depending on the characters that are involved.
Yeah, no, interior art looks nice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, there's a framing story involving these zombies, but we do get Weirdo's origin uh, within the book,
Okay.
inside the framing story. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that's if anyone missed all the books
Whoops.
and they
Yeah.
want. I mean, we have a tier for just the 5 new digital, 5 new print for the people already backed. But if anyone is just completely new, we have this tier right here, all 23 uh, books we've put out, including the new ones, either on digital or on print.
Yeah. That is that's amazing. I love, it's a little small, but I'm looking at the covers and really enjoying them. I do believe I have one of the Nature Man books in a digital format.
Yeah, Nature Man #1 had its own campaign, so
That
that
might be it.
yeah.
Here's the creative team. It's all right. And then we go to the
Yeah, being
risks
that
and
I wrote a
challenges.
few of them, you see me
Yeah,
appear a
see.
couple times in that, but
Mhm. Yeah, no, you got. I mean, I think like I said, I've seen your books before. Um, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of, you got a great group of people coming back to do specific things. You're saying Francisco Bate. Whoops, I have it hooked up as a second monitor on my iPad, and I kept trying to scroll up with my finger, so I have to get my mouse. Sorry, but you're saying Francisco has lettered basically everything for the most part. And you know, who is it here? And
Giuseppe
Giuseppe
colored a lot of it.
probably
Yeah.
does a lot of the coloring. I mean, you got these people who are constantly like repeating with you and and staying around and stuff. So it's good. You got a great team here. Um, let's just move up. Let's see to back this project. Let's take a look at just some of the pledges. So, you know, by the way, no, I'm sorry. I was going to ask you a question. It's answered. I was going to ask you how many pages the books are. It says 22 story page here, 22 on this one, 20 on the other one, 25 on Max Strong. Weirdo has, was that 24? So, I mean, listen, that's really good. I love the print look and your prices on the print. Um,
Yeah, and I
uh,
think the advantage of doing the 5 books like this is that you're not having to do shipping. Those Kickstarter that you had a 1 book, the shipping is almost the same amount, and that can drain your pocket pretty quickly these days.
yeah,
So I like having the 5 books all together, ship it all together to you, save a bit on the shipping, and I try to keep the books even, reasonably priced by Kickstarter standards.
yeah. No, absolutely. These look great here. Digital Deluxe. Oh, this is for all the books, that one.
Yeah,
Nice. And you got it for print here.
that's 23 books, so it's a big chunk of reading you got.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow.
And we've been, like I said, fulfilling. I think this is our 12th campaign between Argo Comics and THUNDERZONE. So, we've been fulfilling in a timely manner, and earned a little bit of a reputation for that, like with a pretty good turnaround time.
Yeah.
So, I think that's an important thing in Kickstarter as far as gaining that trust and showing that you do follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say I just put up a comment from Bill Mouse. If you're still watching, thank you very much. Hi, Bill. Long time no talk. Got to get you back on this show sometime. If you guys are unfamiliar with Bill, check out his work. He's got some really fantastic stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
listen.
Bill actually drew the majority of the Sorority of Power trade paperback. That was our previous Kickstarter.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So well, I know I'm a small screen again, but
No,
if
I
his
can give you the.
cover,
Hold on. Let me give you the screen. I love Bill's work.
yeah, that was the Sorority of Power trade paperback. That's Bill's cover here,
Yeah.
and it's 5 issues, I believe. Let's see. 2 of them are Bill's. Bill does pretty much almost like every other issue, being that he has his own Newer X title to work on. So, I have to work on getting a volume 2 of Sorority of Power, and that'll have more issues by Bill, as well as reoffering issue 1. But yeah, I do have the Sorority of Power back issues available on Indie Planet, and Bill's issues are labeled as such. So if you go to Argo Comics on Indie Planet, you would see, I guess if you search sorority, or if you just go to our main page, you can scroll through and see the issues that Bill did, because Bill has done the covers of all his issues of Sorority of Power.
It's great. Bill, like I said, Bill, his work's fantastic. He draws women fantastically. It's awesome.
That's why he was a natural for Sorority of Power.
Let me come back here. Yeah, no, listen, I just want to say these look fantastic. I didn't get a chance to put the Kickstarter in here, so let me go. Why can't I go back? There we go. And I just want to put it in from here. I'm going to put the Kickstarter link in the comments, so it'll go to YouTube, it'll go to Twitch. You guys, please click on that and back this project. It looks fantastic. A lot of great books, and like I said, and unfortunately, I haven't read this. What was it called? Sorority of Power. I haven't had a chance to read that, but I have read, I believe, at least 2 Argo 5 books.
Argo 5. Okay.
And I have read, I feel like you mentioned, what'd you mention? The Thunder Guard. I feel like I've read that one too. I have them digital, and for some reason my digital isn't popping up, so I can't see right now. But I've always thoroughly enjoyed everything that I've gotten from you.
No, greatly appreciated.
And these, I mean, you've been doing this for such a long time. These are, you can tell you love the genre, and I don't know how to describe it other than fun. At least for me, that when I use the word fun, I don't want people to think I'm thinking like it's a kid-like story or it's silly or like. For me, it was fun to read. I thoroughly enjoyed myself going on, if you want to call it this adventure with your cast of characters, whatever they had to deal with, I enjoyed following along, and I really wish I could give specifics to you right now, but it has been a while since I've read it. I would need to reread that, and I'm in the process of reading a lot of stuff right now. I have so many guests coming on in the next like 2 months, and everybody's sending me digital copies so we could talk about their books more. And and just so you guys know, when I do this show, I don't ask for anything. People have sent me books. People have sent me things. If they send me books, I tell them you can watermark it. I'm not looking for free copies of stuff. It is just really nice of them to do so, and they'll send me not always the same, like a full story. They may send me, here's 10-page sampler, and get my get my what's the word I'm looking for, just get me excited for the story. So
Yeah, we could have
yeah.
done that actually with this one.
No, it's okay.
We kind of put this together. I guess
Yeah,
a little
but
late for the
yeah, but it's
cancellation of
okay.
it.
Like I said, I don't do this for free stuff. I really don't. I do this show because I love indie comics. I love indie creators. I want to spotlight what you guys are doing. That's why I always say, if you choose to send me something, feel free to send it with a watermark if you want me to read it. I don't care. I'm not looking for the free stuff. Send me
Yeah.
black and white copies. You don't have to send me the finished colored work. It's just I just want to be able to give, when I do the show, talk about what you guys want to talk about. And if you want me to read your comic, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm happy to do whatever. But yeah, this is I like that you're doing campaign where people can basically get everything or choose the specific, stories they're interested in. I would, let me just ask you one question, and I probably already know the answer to it. But when you got a book like this, right, or several books like this,
Yeah.
why do it in a way where they're separate books instead of just combining them together into like one giant book and have everybody be able to get all the stories? Just curious.
Well, I guess it's because each of them are separately creator owned,
Mm-hmm.
so that each creator is going to want to put their book together as they would. I guess in the same way that you don't usually see Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman all printed together. I guess they do that more in like with manga comics, where they will have a compilation like that.
Yeah.
And if things go well, we'll probably do trades to
Mm-hmm.
collect, the separate titles, the story arcs.
Excuse me.
But yeah, rather than like I said, I was in that Exciting Comics. It was an anthology, and the
Yeah.
stories got chopped up a bit, and like chopping them up like that, I don't think you get the story as it was meant to be if they were designed as full issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that respect, I feel like having these as all separate books, and us collectors, we like to kind of file them uh, in a certain way to have like
Yeah.
Nature Man 1, 2, 3, 4 in your short or long box, and picking these different covers. So I think yeah, I think the format of individual titles, at least for now, seems to make more sense.
Yeah. I get you. Okay. I was just very curious about that. But yeah, no, listen, I think this is a great, the way you're doing it is really good. And I just keep looking at these designs on the characters, and everything just looks exciting. Well, that I want to pick up everything. Um, Not sure I
Yeah,
can, but I do hope to get something on this campaign. I have to decide what it is. But yeah, no, this looks awesome. I'm so thrilled that, you know, you've been putting out all these books for so long. I've only been familiar with your work. You came on the show, I believe, in 2021. So
Yeah.
maybe a year or two before, however long we've been connected on social media for. I think it was Facebook was the first one. So however long, that's when I started to get to know what you were doing. And you know, when I was able to start getting the copies of books and reading them, I'm like, yeah, you got a fan here in me. And that's why I asked you on the show originally, you know, because I saw stuff and I was like, this is really cool. You know, I'm seeing cool stuff again. Not that the other stuff in between hasn't been cool. Just letting you know that it's all good. I just had other guests, you know. So,
Yeah, no, of
um,
course.
but yeah, no, listen, I totally like I need you to come back. I really do. And you know, let's not make it a 3-4 year time period here. You know, let's get you back sooner. Um, you know, whenever you have a Kickstarter coming out or you have something you just want to, you know, talk about, let me know. Seriously, man. I love sharing your work. And one of the things I did at the end of March, and this happened because I had a guest who had to reschedule and I couldn't find anyone. I decided to do a crowdfunding show where I highlighted everything I saw on different crowdfunding sites that I really liked. All right. I'm going to
Okay.
do that again at the end of this month. I decided the last week of the month, unless it's absolutely necessary, I'm not booking a guest and I'm going to be sharing crowdfunding and just indie books that I buy that I like and things to share with people. This is going on my list again. So I will be sharing this at the end of the month again. I'm just letting you know that.
Oh,
Um,
greatly
this
appreciated.
is this is really, really, you know, good stuff here. Again, I tried to move my iPad with my finger when it's set up as a as an extra monitor. Yeah, this Nature Man stuff it excites me because I am a huge public domain fan. So I'm really a
Yeah,
fan
that
of
has been.
everything.
I mean, I started with Argo 5 and everything, and there's almost like a training period in those earlier issues, and they say once you've done 10,000 hours or something, supposedly you become a master. So I
Yeah, yeah,
really am proud of the Nature Man series,
yeah.
because again, I did my homework on it, and I think the way it was, the story was structured and everything, I really think it stands out as some of my better work.
Okay, well that's good to know. I mean, it's and I know I read issue one. I had to have read issue one. I have a Nature Boy or Nature Man comic. I keep saying Nature Boy, but I have a Nature Man comic in a digital format
Yeah.
uh, in my digital comics folder, and I tend to read a lot more digital these days, only because I want to back as many you know, crowdfunding as I can, and digital is usually the easiest way to go. Um, but yeah, it was a good story. I do remember that. I need to go back
Oh,
and
thank you.
I do need to go back and look at it again. I will go back and reread everything. I just got to get through like 10 different books right now.
Yeah, no, I hear
So
you. There's a lot of books out there.
yeah,
My have to read pile is way bigger than the already read pile.
and I need to finish drawing my comic. I haven't out you know I've talked about this a bunch of times on the show, but I did the Wiz for 2 years straight, every week, did not miss a week. Every Wednesday, the Wiz came out, and I loved the character and the characters that I created there. But I had other stories to tell, and I have finally started doing my first, if you want to call it, long format comic that I in like 10 years. You know,
Mm.
so I'm very excited to be doing that. Um, and you were talking about manga earlier with as a collection, you know, how they collect things. I'm actually going with more of my manga influences on this. It's based the one I'm currently doing right now is based on like the 70s giant robot esque type of animes and manga. So I'm trying to draw in that style of that era, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But I'm going to end up collecting it with a couple of other short stories that are all influenced. So this one book specifically will be all manga based influence stories. But yeah, so I'm having a great time doing it, and that's kind of what I'm working on in my spare time while I'm trying to read a bunch of comics. So
Yeah,
free time, not enough. Not enough free time. But
that's the
yeah, I
thing
mean,
between creating them and reading them. It's not enough hours in the day,
well,
right?
that's the thing. On Saturday, I sat down. I said, I'm going to draw this comic. And before I started, I was reading this other comic online. And I said, it would be fun to do something in that vein. And I just started doodling some characters from the comic just for fun, little warm up. And then it sparked an idea for a whole thing. And I literally wrote like 15 jokes for the strip. And so I didn't work on my manga. I spent the day developing characters and writing jokes for this new thing. And I'm like, well, that was not that it was a waste of a day. I knew how to get it out of my system, but I'm just like, I didn't get what I wanted done. You know what I mean? So that kind of
Yeah.
sucked. And then the
I
next
mean,
day, I created a new character. I'm like, this is a great story. I got to do him as a manga too. So now it's like, I got another person to put in this book.
you
So,
gotta follow the muse. You gotta
yeah.
go where
But
your creative juices are
but if
flowing.
you don't finish something, nothing gets done. So I need a team. I think I need to start thinking about getting a team of people behind
Well,
me.
that's why I drew Argo 5 #1, and that was it. Because I knew on my own I wasn't going to publish with the
Yeah,
regularity.
yeah,
Like I said, 46 just came out. If I was still drawing it, I'd be, hawking issue 7 by now. you know,
yeah.
so,
No, for me, the drawing was always the fun part. That's what I
oh
love
yeah,
to
no,
do.
it is.
So if I can, I just got to create a better schedule for my life.
Mhm.
To be able to be like, oh, I should maybe after this, maybe I shouldn't go to bed. I should stay up for another 2 hours and draw. You know, but I do need to get up early for my not super early, but I got to get up early in the morning. So it's like I want to go to bed early. It's a whole messy thing in my head. Anyway, I think we're going off on tangents now, but I want to say I'm excited for your Kickstarter. I will be sharing it definitely more throughout the time. I am thrilled that you have already surpassed. Let's see if any more if you gone up here. Oh,
Yeah,
hold
that's the
on,
thing
cancel.
with my shutting the desktop off. I apologize if I've missed comments from anyone, being that I don't have that on the phone and I'm not looking at the campaign either during it. So
Yeah.
I will thank anyone who's watched or is going to watch the replay, who's
Mhm.
contributed to the Kickstarter. Uh, you know, feel free to drop
Yeah.
me a line on social media. Tell me what you're liking, what you're not liking, and we'll try to aim to please.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I think you got it. I think it's really good here. Um, so yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up. I really enjoyed talking to you, learning about what you've been up to and your new stuff here. Um, yeah, I think you're onto something here, and I like this idea of THUNDERZONE, the combining of the characters into different worlds. That's a great concept. Um, so much, just so much, so many good things here you got going on. And I wish you a lot of luck with this and all your future comics. And yeah, seriously, I want you back and to tell me about the other projects you got coming up soon. Um,
Undoubtedly, I really appreciate being on.
yeah,
And you know how it is with the independent comics. So tough to get your creations and voice out there. So, it's people like yourself who, will have that door open to an indie creator who, really helps the indie comics cause.
yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be honest. I didn't think I was going to be doing it this long. This is something I set up in the during the pandemic when everybody was home and I missed going to shows and talking with my indie comic friends. And I said, let's just promote and see what's going on. And, you know, here I am, 5 years later, still doing this stuff and talking. And even though there are days like even today, I was exhausted after my day job. I said, I don't want to do this tonight. I come on and this is like the highlight of the day. It's so much fun for me to get to talk with people like you and to share what you're doing because it excites me and it inspires me to keep pushing at my work too. So thank you for that. And yeah, I just just keep on making comics, man. I really appreciate it. You know, you guys are like my heroes. Everybody I bring on, you know, you guys are the ones I'm looking at to keep me going, you know? So
yeah, no, I hear you. Well, like I said, 20 years in, I don't have the idea of quitting yet. So,
yeah.
I'm determined to keep it rolling. And,
Yeah.
THUNDERZONE has been creeping up each campaign. So, yeah, I'm hoping for, we'll see with this campaign. I'm hoping for big things ahead for us.
Yeah. Well, good luck. You know what? I didn't even open up who's my guest for next week. I usually tell it at the end. Let me just open up my calendar here. Next week. Where the hell's my calendar? I'm sorry, guys. I'm usually better than this. No, I'm not. You guys know me. Next week is and again, if I mess up the last name, I apologize. Randy Ronaldo is coming on next week. So if you're unfamiliar with his work, he does a book. What is it? Is it Rob Haynes?
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Sure.
Yeah, it's a really, really fun looking book. Let me just get the proper name. I don't want to get it. So Randy, which they're not letting me go to his.
I mean, from the covers I've seen, Rob Haynes is kind of like a mystery solver, kind of like the Hardy Boys or something, but there's only one.
Yeah, it has that feel to it. It's very, the style kind of feels, it's above like Archie.
Yeah.
But not at like superhero style, you know? And it looks like fun adventures. It was when I read the idea, like I was following him on, this is how I'm bringing him on the show. This is how it was. I wrote him on Instagram. I've been following him for a while. I've been seeing the artwork posted and I never read a book of his. And I said, I need to get a copy. And I just haven't bought a copy yet. And I wrote him and I said, listen, this is the type of show I do. I'd love to have you on. Love to. Your book is like right up my alley. And he actually sent me a copy of maybe the first issue or two. So I'm going to go read those. But this weekend I will actually. But it was just so like, this is the type of stuff I read when I was younger, you know, and, you know, makes me feel almost like a Terry and the Pirates vibe a little bit, Hardy Boys, like you said, like that type of, I was like, and that excited me. And so I'm like, I need you to come on my show. Now I could be wrong about his book. I haven't read it yet, but I will be reading stuff this weekend. And I'm just super excited because it seems to be something that if I was, you know, like a younger side teenager, that's what I'd be buying right now, you know? So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. I will be doing a stream probably Sunday, giving an update of where I am on my comic process. And yeah, I have a bunch of guests coming on this month. I have I'm doing different days because the guests can't come on all on Wednesday. It's going to be nuts. And at the end of the month, don't forget, I will have a crowdfunding site, show again. So if you have a crowd funding book, you have a book being crowdfunded, a game, whatever, you're an indie guy, you think that it's something that my audience would like to know about, or I'd like to know about it, that I would want to share with my, send me a message, send me the link, let me know what you're backing out there, because if you're backing something, you don't have to have a Kickstarter or whatever, but if you're backing stuff, just send it to me. I want to see what you're backing, and let me take a look, and let me see if I feel it's something that I would enjoy and that my audience would love to know about. Last time I did a 2-hour episode for this live stream, I found most of those in the day or two before. I ended up backing a couple, but yeah, it's just, there's so many good things. But yeah, people wrote me, sending me stuff that and that's what I mean. I just found them. It was people sending me, I'm backing this book, check it out. Like, that was what it was. And that's how I ended up pulling some out. So anyway, with that, I'm finally saying goodbye. Dan, thanks for coming on. I had a lot of fun chatting. We'll definitely do it again. And, keep in contact. Let me know what's going on so I can bring you back more often. I'd love to hear about it, share with my audience. You put out, like I said, you put out great stuff. And this is something that, in the indie comic world, I'd like my audience to know more and more about.
Greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we'll definitely have to catch up on the next one sooner than later.
Absolutely. All right, guys. You have a great night. I will see you on Sunday, and if not, next